Welcome to Buzz in the Tower, a podcast dedicated to
dying in the cold.
to the movies of the 80s and 90s.
It's so cold in this room.
I am Mo Shapiro, and joining me off the market officially for the first time on Buzz in the Tower, the newlywed himself. Bum bum ba-da.
The Flamenco song?
I don't know what the newlywed song is. Max Sanders, back from honeymoon and wedding.
No more premarital sax for me.
Saxophone it is.
Saxophone.
Saxophone. Which ties in perfectly to Billy.
Yeah.
Today we're talking about...
Were you driving drunk?
Today
I was drunk. Can't consider it driving.
Today we're talking about St. Elmo's Fire.
Yep.
Growing up, you don't see the writing on the wall.
Is that the actual lyrics?
Yes. And I got to tell you, before I give the laundry list of all of the things that we do in the show, I had my mind blown, but a minute ago.
Okay.
Coster loves the song, the St. Elmo's Fire song, and has never seen St. Elmo's Fire. Coster, bring up your mic, please. I need to understand this.
Okay, so it was in a Deadpool ad, believe it or not, which actually kind of makes
makes
sense for
sense.
him.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense.
Never
yeah.
mind, that makes sense for him. But I heard it, and I'm like, this song rock. Oh, shit.
Bleep yourself.
Dang it, I had to bleep myself.
Play the game.
I
You
really
don't
liked
know.
it.
It's
I really liked it,
unbelievable.
and then I realized when I went on Spotify that it was of a movie.
That's
of the same name.
unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yep. But we also talked about how there's probably a subset of people that know certain songs from movies that most people know.
Don't you
from
forget
movies.
about me
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
Breakfast Club.
What's the Bryan Adams one?
Yeah, even like Dirty Dancing.
From-
There's Dirty Dancing songs.
From the Prince of Thieves one. The Robin Hood one.
Oh.
I do it for you.
Everything I do, I do for you. Yeah.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Look into my eyes.
Yeah.
All these songs are the same, by the way.
Yeah.
Every single one of these songs.
Oh, no, they are.
You
But I
got
love
the
them. I love
touch.
every single one of them.
So when I sing, and we all know I'm a modern day songbird, when I sing, I purposefully lean into sounding like I'm on an episode of South Park and I'm Randy, like play the game, growing up. And so when you really listen to these songs, whether it's Bryan Adams or whether it's who did Don't You Forget About Me? That's an actual
Oh, Tears for Fears.
yeah, Tears for Fears, which I love their music.
Do you name another song?
Oh my gosh. Play the game.
Yeah.
Shout.
He
No.
called out.
Out. These are the things I can
got
do.
Oh, shout it out loud or something? Yeah.
I'm looking for you. I knew it. Don't come in here after a 2-week break and call me to the mat.
I was ready to do pods.
I can see the new horizon.
You couldn't do more than one in a week.
Yeah.
I was like, let's go. You're like, I can't do this.
No, it's too much Max.
And you did Terminator 2.
I know. Too much Max.
this is our best
There's too
opening
many
we've ever
Best
done.
of the best.
It's too much Max.
You got to talk about
Too
Eric
much
Roberts and
Max.
his 700 movie
I
titles.
know. Bruce was really excited.
James
about that.
Earl Jones.
Bruce made a compelling case for me to fire you, both on air and off air, but you're here and we'll try to forge through as best we can. So if this is your first time to the show, like I mentioned, we're talking about play the game.
St. Elmo's Fire.
St. Elmo's Fire. We also do all 80s and 90s movies. If you have not visited our website, check it out at buzzinthetower.com. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, we're on all podcast players. Follow, leave a review, subscribe. Social media, we've got amazing TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram.
We just hit 1 million
material.
on your Muppets one.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Play the game. Burn it up. I'm sorry. We get a lot of complaints about my singing. I recently have been like thumbing through. I'll get to this in a minute. This is something for us to talk about.
Okay.
My inability to take criticism is getting worse. I have to start taking medicine. Patreon.
You think you get better at it?
No. Patreon.com/buzzinthetower if you want to support the show. And then, of course, although neither of us are wearing one right now, 80stees.com is our sponsor. Visit them for the best retro classic shirts.
I bought this off a hobo.
Yeah. Soup kitchen? Someone break into your Prius and have a little party? The best. The other guys and Step Brothers are two gems that I don't think people
I like the other guys
understand.
more than Step Brothers.
Oh, no. Step Brothers might be one
An
of the-
hour 45? Now we have a taste for lion?
That didn't go the way you thought it was going to, did you? That whole, it's amazing. All right, we're talking about St. Elmo's Fire. This was, well, actually, I guess before we get into any of this, your wedding.
Yeah.
What's it feel like to be married?
The same.
Are you dead inside like me?
No, I'm great.
You're on your way.
We went on our mini moon. We went to
Talk
Port-
about your mini moon.
So I got a couple tattoos.
Of course.
I got a space
Whale?
whale,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a cowboy frog.
Cowboy frog.
Yeah.
Ribbit?
Sheriff.
Sheriff.
But The wedding was perfect. You did a great job.
I was told many people were happy.
Although Selena's like, did he have to plug Buzz in the Tower twice?
Oh yeah, 100%.
No, the first time was cute. The second time she's like, all right.
No, that's you have to put. As I've told you before, Max, you got to make everybody a little uncomfortable.
We got 25 or 30 new subscribers that day.
That's what my plan was. I was there for myself.
I don't think my friends really cared about me before.
No, they weren't
But
listening.
it was a wonderful wedding. I actually danced and it went well. And
your Selena was like
my Selena?
Yes. She was like out of a bridal magazine.
Yeah.
Like gorgeous.
Yeah.
I kept on looking at her, then looking at you, and then looking at her. You know what it reminded me
Are
of?
you sure?
Do you know what it honestly?
I think he's talking to you.
Do you know what it actually reminded me of?
What?
Talking about the other guys. It reminded me when
Ava Mendes?
when he meets Will Ferrell's wife.
Is this some kind of joke?
So wait a second. You guys are married? He came into but it is he's also like you. Like
Gator doesn't play.
I came into the hospital that night. I had poison ivy all over my rectum, and I helped him. And when I looked into his eyes, that's when I fell in love. Like, it was amazing. The whole wedding was great. It was so great to meet your family, especially your mom and your dad and your sister. It was a blast. Your nephews are adorable.
Yeah. Wait, have you met my dad before in person?
I don't think so.
Okay,
We've talked on the phone.
Yeah.
He's lectured me about being nicer to you, but I don't think we've met in person. But the whole wedding, it couldn't have gone more perfect. And then we finished the night. You suckered me. I blame this all on my wife.
Yeah, she let you go.
I had the perfect excuse for not going out to the bar after your wedding, and she blew my excuse out. So I ended up going to the bar, where I was given a scorekeeper's polo, and I worked the bar, security. I had the best time. I was ready to quit my job. I was literally like, I'm going back to
You were ready to quit your job Friday night when we were there with 10 people.
Yeah, Max. I get into that bar, and just the smells hit my nose, and my hair stands up
Once
my
it hits your
arm.
lips,
Oh my
so
God,
good.
dude.
Yeah.
Just podcast full-time, bartend 3 nights a week. Trish said she'd divorce me if I went back.
Yeah, that's
by the
fair.
way. So
Yeah.
it's fair.
Yeah.
But that's marriage. Welcome to it, buddy. Welcome to it.
I mean, my wife lives
Today. Everything today.
She lives in the basement like a goblin.
Yeah. In a boublier.
A boublier.
It's not a boublier, but I love how we butcher the name of
We
that.
see each other 2 hours a day, maybe.
That is.
And
the
we've slept in the same
secret.
bed twice, and we lived together 8 months. So we're extending the life of our marriage.
Play the game.
Yeah.
You know you can't quit until it's won.
Or Billy and Jules got together, basically.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
The perfect couple.
It is the perfect. What could go wrong? What could go wrong indeed? So I'm gonna go quickly to my mental health. So recently, I've always tried to push for Buzz in the Tower's Facebook presence to get stronger, and it's always been a struggle. Except recently, some of the reels that you've put have exploded. Like, I've been noticing like all the comments on them, and then I realized that like the average Facebook user is so mean compared to the average Instagram user.
Oh yeah.
Like I never in my life put that together.
It's an age gap. It's 10 years.
My God.
10 years or 10 years
Jesus,
later. Yeah.
Max.
Yeah.
Like every person, like one of the videos is like, you know, it's one of our videos where like this person's in this movie too, and it's like 15 people being like, yeah, duh, dude. They're called actors. They're in multiple movies. I'm like, you shut the hell up. I didn't know that. Just like mean after mean. Like, oh, these two guys in their basement. Did you read those?
Yeah.
There's a few people that are like saying, and yes, the studio is technically in my basement, but I don't live down here. God.
Anymore.
I wish I lived down here. It's actually really nice in the basement. So I guess what I'm saying is just be kind.
Yeah.
Like I don't have this in me to deal with this. I guess it's good that our popularity is like teetering on good, but like still a little bit.
We're so positive. We don't go negative on anybody.
Only on each other. And that's really only me. I'm the only negative part of the show because I hate you. But I'm in a good mood. I haven't seen you in a couple weeks, so this always makes me in a good mood.
Play the game.
I can see.
So let's talk about what spawned this. The movie
Bratz.
The movie Bratz came out.
So if you haven't seen this, Andrew McCarthy did a documentary on the Brat Pack. And I have to tell you, we could have done a whole episode on just brats.
Yep.
It was fascinating.
It was.
There's a lot of different things to unpack from this. Essentially, what the documentary on Hulu, shout out to Hulu, is about is
how screwed up these guys are.
Well, no, it's not. He is, but that's not even it. Really, what this is about is this moment, this tipping point.
Yeah.
And I love that they had Malcolm Gladwell.
That was pretty cool.
I thought that he interviewed him was fascinating. So the tipping point in the career of these young actors and actresses, they all were ascending in their careers.
Yep.
And a writer did an article about them. Starting off, it was just supposed to be about Emilio.
It was an interview with Emilio.
But Emilio had all of his friends over.
Yeah.
You know, everyone from Rob Lowe, Andrew McCarthy, the whole gang.
The almost famous kind of corollary. It's like, oh, he's one of us.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
No, he was not one of you guys. And so he wrote this article essentially. They thrashed him. It wasn't the worst thing in the world.
No, they were just spoiled.
Yeah,
They were,
like impetulant children,
young and invincible, and like they'd gotten fame earlier than most people did.
Right.
Because this was the time that movie stars started to do teen movies, like where it was really like culturally important.
Right. And he coined the term Brat Pack,
It's still brilliant.
which is a play on the Rat Pack.
Yeah.
You know, the Sammy Davis Jr.
I obsessed about the Rat Pack back in the day.
I bet you did.
I still have a poster of them in my.
Who it was?
Sammy Davis
Jr.,
Joey Bishop, Peter Lawford, Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, and that's 5.
Yeah, that's 5. Yeah. So, anyways, he writes this article, and it just was one of those things like Haktua. Like it just stuck and rolled, right? By the way, there will never come a time in my life where I am not. I thought I'd seen enough, and then I saw this video this morning of her face and like Super Mario Brothers, the second one, where like the thing would throw the eggs.
Yeah.
Except her face was covering the dragon, and then she was Haktua, and then the egg flies at Mario.
Yeah.
And then there's a Donkey Kong one with a barrel. I'm in it. I'm in it for the long haul forever. Yeah. Apparently, she's a bartender, by the way.
No way.
Who knows? The lore around her
I heard
is
she
incredible.
was
I heard she was a missionary.
No, a preschool teacher that got fired from her job.
I saw that too. I think that's a lie.
I think so too.
But whatever.
It's the best.
It's the best.
This girl.
I want her on the show.
Shout out
get
Pookie.
her on the show. Right?
Shout out Pookie.
Get her on the show. So, anyways, the Rat Pack stuck, and what is fascinating about this? There's a million things that are make it worth watching. The history that Andrew McCarthy is essentially going on a cathartic journey to connect with all of these people. He's
really messed up still.
He's not the only one. And what I thought was incredible, Ali Sheedy seems to be the most normal of all of them, by the way.
Rob Lowe seems like...
Yeah, well, because he's got Parks and Rec. I mean, like, his career has survived and continued to thrive. Yeah. But what I thought was fascinating about this is as he went out there and interviewed, and he did some people that were Brat Pack adjacent.
Yeah,
like
Leah Thompson and Howie Deutsch.
And Howie Deutsch, who we both had on the show. It's rare that we get to say such a
I know, right?
We have like a little like horn or something, like self-brag, you know.
Bow, bow, bow.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating about it is, as a normal person, as a plebe, if you will, for you and I, or for the average fan, you just assume that they were in this movie and they have this incredible life, and like, how could they be unhappy about anything? And meanwhile, they're like, this was disastrous for us.
And they never hung out.
No, and like crushed them. And like they purposefully stayed away from doing movies together.
Yeah, they canceled movies and all that.
Because they didn't want to be affiliated. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, if I ever was in one movie like that, I'd be good. Yeah. If my career never went anywhere else, I'd just be like, I was in St. Elmo's Fire.
All of them were in like 4 or 5 of these like forever movies. Yeah. Like their intertwining was really cool because there's movies where there's like 2 of them, there's 3 of them, there's 4 of them. And this was supposed to be the culmination. And it ended up being the last hurrah. It's pretty strange.
It is. It's also kind of wild that the Breakfast Club, which had obviously you had Judd Nelson, Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheedy,
Molly Ringwald.
No, I'm only picking people that were in both St. Elmo's Fire and the Breakfast Club.
Emilio.
That's it. Those 3: Emilio, Judd, and
3 out of 6.
Right. But like, it's funny because those 3 that were in the Breakfast Club were also in St. Elmo's Fire. In the Breakfast Club, they're like seniors in high school. In St. Elmo's Fire, they're right out of college. And that, I believe, was released within a year of each other, correct?
85 and 86.
Yeah. So that's just kind of funny to me. Like, you literally have, like, we all graduate. We're going to get into the movie in a moment. I think that, excuse me, I think that this represents one of these moments and why it was so successful and popular, like the Perfect Storm. We've talked about Perfect Storm movies where you have
George Clooney against the giant wave.
Yeah, exactly. I loved that movie.
Bad accents.
You know what's funny?
I've
only read like 5 books in my life. The Perfect Storm is one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that fits you.
Yeah. I'd like
white middle-aged dude.
All right, come on now. It's not our base.
As you have an American hat.
Man, you're coming out shooting fire in today. Well, it's okay. You only have a few more episodes left before you're replaced, so you might as well enjoy them. Let's go to the Goonies for a moment, if we will.
Oh, okay.
If I may.
Yeah.
The Goonies is telling a story of childhood.
Yep.
Right?
Which is actually easier to do than the post-college story.
So Stand By Me is telling a story of childhood.
Yeah.
It is tapping into a time in your life when you remember taking your bike, driving to your friend's house. Way back in the day, some parents would ring a bell and then you'd hear it in the neighborhood, and that's how you knew you would come home
E.T.
for
Poltergeist. I mean, it's Spielberg. It's basically Spielberg's view of being 10 to 12.
Right. So you have these timepieces that represent different kind of sections in your life.
Yeah.
So you have the Goonies, and you listed some others, and it resonates even to this day because there's a nostalgia to remembering what was going on in my life. And what was going on in your life at 10, 11, 12 is that the imagination of being a child paired with understanding adult problems. This is the Spielberg magic.
Yep.
It's children solving adult problems by themselves without adults. Then John Hughes comes in, and you get Weird Science, 16 Candles, Breakfast Club,
Pretty in Pink.
And for the first time ever, at least in film, you're getting these movies that are led by the angst and issues of the teen, right? in a relatable, understandable way. And so using just the Breakfast Club as the seminal event, right? The Breakfast Club was, okay, there is someone in this group that was me or a part of me, right? It's a DNA test. Like I've got 40% jock, 30% weirdo, whatever it is, right?
All percent.
You love her. Then St. Elmo's Fire. St. Elmo's Fire was great because it was transitionally something that I don't think you experienced this because you never left college.
Well, no, I experienced it for 10 years. Like,
I think you talked about this, the rotation of your friends and always losing them. Yeah.
So I think this point in your life when
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
So when you're like 22 to 24, figuring things out, you are the worst person on the face of the earth. All of you. So I think this movie doesn't work usually because everyone is so self-centered. It's all about sleeping with the wrong person, quitting a job. Like the perfect example of this movie is when Kirby throws that party and they break a vase and Billy's like, it's not a party till something gets broken. It's like, you don't care about anything. You're invincible. And the reason why these movies don't really work for the most part is because that kind of person is insufferable. But these people are so charming as actors that it's actually a watchable movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I would even say my initial kind of statement to you about how I've never been through this.
Yeah.
What I meant more is you've been through it as an interloper because you've only created really strong bonds with a small handful of people, which I think is necessary with so many people in and out of your life. It'd be devastating if you had a new best friend every year.
Yeah.
Whereas like with me, I've rolled with the same group of people since I was 5. But you do go through that phase where you're like, God, man, like
forever was short. Yeah. Well, they say it.
And also like just watching people change. And by the way, people change and don't necessarily turn from good guy to bad guy. There's a fluidity, which I like about St. Elmo's Fire.
Yeah, no one's a good guy or bad guy, really, right?
It's very clean. There's not judgment in this, right? They're all scoundrels and they're all good friends.
Yeah, Billy's terrible.
Alec's terrible.
Yeah,
he's about to get engaged, and his justification for infidelity is like, well, as soon as she says yes, I'll stop cheating on her.
Kirby might be the
stalker.
Yeah.
Kirby's no cover guy.
Yeah.
We've worked with people. So St. Elmo's Fire is about a group of recent college graduates who embark on a series of misadventures in the real world. There's Kirby, who's Emilio Estevez. He's a waiter who wants to be a lawyer and
a doctor
and is stalking a woman. There is it's amazing. There's Kevin, who's played by Andrew McCarthy. He's a moody writer who is secretly in love with his best friend's fiance or girl. There's Jules, played by Demi Moore, a gorgeous drug addict.
Is she your favorite character of all time?
We had an episode where we talked about like all-time 80s crushes, and I listed Jules from St. Elmo's Fire.
Let's say...
Hold that thought. We're going to get back to it because we'll talk about it in a second. There's Alec, played by Judd Nelson, who is wants to be a politician.
But he's a Democrat who's turning Republican for the money.
Just climb the ladder. Leslie, played by Sheedy, who is Alec's fiance and also has her issues.
Do they give her a job at all?
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's super weird. Wendy, who's played by Mare Winningham, who's a quiet girl in love with Rob Lowe, who also was pregnant during the movie, but nobody talks about that.
Yep.
And then Rob Lowe, who plays Billy.
Billy Hicks.
You love Billy Hicks.
He's the man.
He juggles roles as a husband, a dad, and a drunk, and together they grapple with adulthood.
By juggles, you mean falls down a hill drunkenly.
Do you know that Robert Downey Jr. was the other one who was up for that role?
That would have been perfect too.
That would have been good.
They were both dealing with substance abuse issues in their life at this point.
Well, not as much as Jules.
Do you know Rob Lowe would like hang out with the Lakers like on the road and like bring the Laker girls to the rooms and stuff?
So take him to the side for a second. Demi Moore
was in rehab.
So she was put in rehab by Schumacher, who said she showed up for like wardrobe like high and was like, you will go to rehab or you will not be in this movie.
She was doing an 8-ball every other day.
Yeah. Additionally, which was wild to me, Demi Moore, the majority of the casting of this film, tip your hat to John Hughes. So John Hughes.
No, Joel Schumacher.
No, John Hughes.
Okay. Well, he forced their hand.
John Hughes, if I can finish.
Can I finish?
John Hughes gave very strong, glowing recommendations to pick the 3 that were from The Breakfast Club.
Yep.
In addition to that, John Hughes stood up Demi Moore for a meeting. Demi Moore was walking away from that, walked by Schumacher.
Oh, yeah.
Schumacher saw Demi and was like, who's that girl?
Yeah.
So they hunted and found her, and they were like, are you an actress? And she's like, I am. What's the song that she sings in One Crazy Summer?
Oh, my God. It's Cassandra?
Yeah, it's Cassandra.
I don't remember.
The whole damn world's going down on me. At the Dewdrop Inn?
Yeah.
Yeah, God. Good old Demi. Dude, I've got a thing.
Her voice, the raspiness.
Early 80s or mid 80s Demi Moore.
Yeah.
That's my sweet spot.
Yeah. You know, she can cry out of one eye on command.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Dude,
And she was the first $10 million actress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Striptease was great, but I'm telling you, man, Demi Moore.
What happened to her? It's interesting. It's like after 40, they kind of stopped giving her roles.
Well, that's
margin call.
That's unfortunately most women.
Yeah, but she's Hollywood. Like a powerful, good-looking older woman.
Ali Sheedy's the one for me, who I think is the best actress of the bunch.
Really?
Yeah. For the female actresses, absolutely.
In
this group.
Oh, in this
group.
So, by the way, let's categorize the Brat Pack.
Brat Pack.
Can you name the 9 original members?
The 9 original members.
So I have this written down because, it's like this free-flowing thing.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony Michael Hall.
Yep.
Molly Ringwald.
Yep.
Ducky.
Nope.
No.
Leah
Thompson.
Nope. Okay. She's adjacent. Remember, she was.
We want original, not adjacent.
Yep.
Let me starting over. Anthony Michael Hall.
Yep.
Molly Ringwald.
Yep.
Judd Nelson.
Yep. We've just been talking.
Andrew McCarthy. Sorry. God. Andrew McCarthy.
Correct.
Emilio Estevez.
Correct.
Ali Sheedy.
Yep.
Rob Lowe.
No. Interesting.
How can Rob Lowe not be a part of the Brat Pack?
The original 9. Like it got bigger.
Then you give me your list. I got
you said 7 of them, and then it's Sean Penn, and then it's Demi Moore.
Demi Moore, yes, but Sean Penn?
Yeah. Interesting, right?
Interesting. Yeah. I don't know. I'll have to double check your list.
Yeah.
I don't know how Rob Lowe's not original part of the Brat Pack, whatever. All right, Max, let's talk about this movie for a second.
I just love, it's everything you do wrong in your 20s. Like, absolutely everything. It's like you cringe as you watch it and you're yelling at the screen because you've made almost all these errors.
Yeah.
At some point. I mean, could you... I think 90% of what happened in this movie I've been through.
You actually have done all of them. You've been pregnant.
I faked a saxophone a Halloween party and fought with my wife and made out with her.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
But I mean, you're mean and reckless, and I don't know, you had this embarrassing sense of invincibility. Even their handshake, the bula 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 It's like,
do you know the story behind that?
So it's how they felt people were talking around them. Rob Lowe.
No, you're being too ambiguous. Oh. The guys would go out, and these attractive foreign men would pick up all the women, and they would get jealous. So they made up this language to be like, oh, ha, ha, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
Oh, got it.
So it's basically racist.
You ever put your friend's head in a toilet?
No. I have to say, there are these moments in the movie where I'm like, that is not something that just gets shrugged off. Like, if you put my head in a toilet.
The wet looks good.
Yeah, the wet look is in. St. Elmo's Fire is named after Saint Erasmus of Formia, also known as St. Elmo, the patron saint of sailors. So apparently there is a scientific meteorological, maybe, phenomenon.
I still don't understand this. I've read it 6 times. I don't.
Phenomenon, which can warn against an immediate lightning strike, and it's regarded by sailors with awe and sometimes considered to be a good omen.
Yeah.
More importantly, this is supposed to take place on the campus of Georgetown. Georgetown wouldn't let them shoot.
They read the script and they're like, nah.
But Maryland did,
Yep.
so they shot there. The bar that is St. Elmo's, they built the exact replica of a bar called The Tomb.
Yep, The Tombs.
And they built it on the lot at Warner Brothers, and I think, is it Warner Brothers? It's on Paramount.
Yeah.
Whatever the lot. Whatever the lot is where the clock tower for Back to the Future was, because this bar is 4 buildings over from the clock tower. Save the clock tower, Coster. Save the clock tower. How that became boo. Remember from Princess Bride?
Oh, yeah.
Bow down.
You're all over the place.
I am. I'm excited. You're back.
Yeah. So think about this. This is a great ensemble movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's no real lead. You know what I mean? Like you're kind of like with everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. Who would you even say?
That's the thing. You don't know.
Is it? No, it's not Andrew McCarthy. You're right. No, you're right.
What other great ensemble movie casts are there where you don't know who the lead are? I thought of 5 or 6.
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11. Big Chill.
Big Chill. Can we go back to Big Chill for a second?
Yeah.
In that timeline of Goonies, Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's, and then in Big Chill. Yeah. Big Chill is essentially
like 8 years later.
Yeah.
It's like the boomers.
And then Cocoon.
That's a good ensemble.
I'm serious.
That's a good ensemble movie.
And it's like, think about it. Like I don't have like another movie that fits that spot for like grumpier old men.
Yeah.
But like Cocoon.
Kicking and Screaming. You ever seen that? The Noah Baumbach movie?
Yeah.
Not the Will Ferrell one.
Oh no, I haven't.
It's a 95.
My bad.
Post-college movie. It's Keith Stoltz is in it too.
Okay.
And so it's like post-college, what do we do kind of stuff. Yeah. And also Rat Race.
Okay, yeah. I have seen Rat Race.
Excuse me.
So this was written by Joel Schumacher and his assistant. His assistant, Carl Kurlander, apparently fell in love with a waitress earlier in his life.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. And while he was working as a bellhop in Chattanooga, New York's St. Elmo's Hotel.
Oh, okay, got it.
And he based the story off of this. So I mean, good for him for having the self-awareness to recognize he's a full-on stalker.
Yeah.
I love Kirby in this movie. I love like Emilio Estevez's character cracks me up beyond all belief. The sheer outrageous aggression.
Yeah.
And his like pivoting on his life choices based on this like
there are a few moments in a man's life when he gets married, when the right girl smiles at him.
Oh my gosh.
Or he throws the party. By the way, the guy Mr. Kim, why do you
hire another friend after Billy sleeps with his girlfriend?
Yeah.
He goes back to Alec. He's like, hey, do you have any other friends that can be my attaché or whatever? Yeah. Oh my God. So when they Columbia Pictures produced the movie, they sent a 35-page memo listing all of the issues they had with the movie. The biggest of which was the name. The other recommended names they gave were The Real World and Sparks.
So The Real World is actually a great name. Because, I mean, you think about The Real World and how that affected on MTV.
Yeah.
Like, I think they nailed it with that one, actually.
It's so soft. I don't like the soft serve, like, let's go back for a second.
I like the movie title. Tell me what the...
Okay, but instead of The Breakfast Club, what are you going to call it? Saturday Detention.
Yeah.
Instead of 16 Candles, are you going to call it Birthday?
So...
Birthday.
Unclear titles lead to movies doing poorly sometimes.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Good movies lend themselves to overcome that.
I guess. Yeah, but you just said the word overcome.
Think about your favorite movies. I mean,
The Matrix. What's it about? The Matrix.
You don't know what The Matrix is going into that.
No one can explain it.
That's what I'm saying. That's such a terrible example.
Goodfellas. What's it about? Goodfellas. Great guys.
Yeah, name that movie Mafia Buddies. Yeah. Like, that's not what you would call it. You call it Goodfellas.
Heat. It's about warmth. It's about the creation of fire.
You're so wrong on this one. That's fine.
Gladiator. What's that about? Bunch of gladiators.
Yeah. You ever been to a Turkish prison?
What's the worstly titled and the worst titled movie of all time?
Howard the Duck. See, that's where it was very clear what it was, and it didn't work at all, did it, Max?
I'm trying to think, what's the worst title?
That's the worst title of all time.
Don't Be a Menace in South Central.
All right.
Sorry.
That's okay. You took us on another trip, as usual. Anthony Edwards and Leah Thompson both auditioned for this movie. I mentioned about John Hughes being a big influence in all this as well. Because of Breakfast Club and everything else.
Rob Lowe had to beg for the role.
Yeah.
So he came in with a 6-pack of Corona and just like put his feet on the table and started going.
Demi Moore came in riding a motorcycle with tags still on all of her clothes.
That was probably just her.
I know. God, I want to be with her.
Is it the pearls and her dancing on the jukebox and all?
Everything about her in this movie is fantastic.
She wants to sleep with everyone, right?
She's like hanging out with these sheiks and they have to like come save her.
But they don't have to save her. They're just eating and hanging out. Yeah. She's like, oh, who are you? Thank God.
So good, dude.
But you remember the girl that like wanted to be saved? That would be like the damsel in distress for no reason, just because he thought it was fun.
Yeah. I don't remember that. Fortunately for me, I've never had to deal with.
I did a lot of sorority girls.
God, Max, unbelievable. It's so sexist of you to say such a thing. Emilio wanted to play Billy Hicks. The vibe that I get from Emilio, and again, I even got it in Bratz in the interview that they were doing. There are some people who, if they just would get out of their own head, should be so happy with who they are. Like Emilio Estevez is a fantastic actor. He's fun. Yeah. He's great. But like, even he changed his name.
His dad's Shadow.
I understand.
His dad's one of the best actors of all time.
I get it. Yeah. I get it. But like him wanting to be Billy, like he's not Billy. Yeah. He should have known he's not Billy. Yeah. He 100% is Kirby. And that the ego would prevent him from like, I don't want to be the lame Kirby. Like, dude, you're Kirby for sure.
Yeah.
Right. Like what's the awful movie that he's in that we love?
Loaded Weapon 1?
No, that's a great we should do that movie. No, the one where the machines come alive.
Maximum Overdrive.
Maximum Overdrive. Like he wanted to be Pork Chop Express on that. Like, he wanted to be Jack Burton.
Yeah, he's too short.
He's not Jack
Burton. He's 5'5".
Although he was great as Billy the Kid, as I say all that, like he was incredible in Young Guns.
Yeah.
That was perfect for him.
But
because he was a kid. He was like
and the thing is, he was bigger than his own britches. You know what I mean? Like
you're right. No, I'm sticking with what I said. Yeah. Like, part of what made him great in Young Guns as Billy the Kid is that you almost felt like he was outdoing his own bravado.
Exactly.
Yeah. I agree. Good point, Max. Good point.
Thank you.
So when getting casted as Dale, which is such a weird name for a woman, but whatever, it jump-started Andie MacDowell's film career.
So does anyone look more 80s and 90s beautiful than Andie MacDowell?
Yeah.
Is there anyone who exemplifies that era of like just generic beauty?
She is sneaky in movies that like you forget that she's in.
Sex, Lies, and Videotapes.
Well, I'll go one even more. Groundhog's Day.
Oh, yeah.
She's chemistry with Bill Murray is not easy. Yeah. And I think of all of the women who have been in movies with Bill Murray, she's up there very high on the list for chemistry.
Her and Scarlett Johansson.
I've not seen.
Lost in Translation.
Lost in Transition. Yeah.
By the way, you got to look this up right now. Look up Andie MacDowell's daughter. She's like a carbon copy.
I can't. My computer doesn't work. I'll look it up later.
Okay.
Just kidding. I don't want to do it. As I'm using my
Multiplicity,
computer.
By the way.
Oh yeah.
Where she sleeps with 4 Michael Keatons.
We're gonna pet a dolphin. Sign me up for that. I love the dumb copy in Multiplicity. Yeah. We should do that movie.
It's great.
It's really good.
It's a Ramis movie. Harold Ramis.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I did know that.
Yeah.
So we talked about the Brat Pack and where they got their name from. So it was in a New York magazine. David Bloom is who wrote the article.
He seemed like such a jerk.
He was, you could feel like Andrew McCarthy was basically like staring his attacker down. Yeah. And was like, that was
what's it like to ruin my life? He was okay with it, actually.
Yeah. That was the weirdest part of the documentary.
Very strange.
But whatever. I mean, it's his job. I don't know. I guess I don't have much to add onto that. That was the one part.
It was kind of heartbreaking though. The guy was like, "I was a professional journalist, and this is what I'm known for."
Right.
Like, and he's like, "Oh, I felt kind of bad for him a little bit."
I agree.
And he's like, "Do you regret anything you said?" He's like, "Nope."
So I got a couple more interesting facts about people who are up for the roles, and then I'll kick it to you for any facts, and then we'll just talk about the actors and actresses in the movies.
I was gonna say before that, we were talking about the article and all.
Yeah.
I missed the time when there was a cultural zeitgeist. Like you could read an article and everyone knew for 20 years.
Well, now it's a tweet.
Yeah.
You should read the tweet.
I know, but like for 20 years, this matters. I don't think there's anything. Hawk Tuah Girl is not going to be remembered in 30 years.
Oh, you watch your mouth. That is not true at all. I totally disagree.
Spit on that thing.
Keep it clean, please. Reportedly, actresses Jodie Foster, Jennifer Beal, Tatum O'Neal, Joan Cusack were all offered roles of Jules, and they all turned it down. The part in the
Jennifer Beals could have crushed it.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Jodie Foster could have been good too.
Yeah, she's too powerful, like female empowerment energy to be that weak.
Pretty young. Well, maybe I don't know.
You know what I mean? She never plays like the character who's like kind of visibly messed up.
Well, listen to the second list: Brooke Shields, Meg Ryan, Jamie Lee Curtis, Melanie Griffith, Jelly, Sarah Jessica Parker, Bridget Fonda, Elizabeth Shue, and Jennifer Jason Leigh were all considered for the role of Leslie.
So, okay, if Elizabeth Shue played Jules, would your life have been over?
Like a strung out, when Elizabeth Shue was in The Boys.
Yeah.
It created problems for my marriage. I feel like,
did it really?
I wouldn't say problems, but like I was spending a lot of time in the dark rewatching episodes, just looking at my Elizabeth. Have you watched the new season of The Boys?
Yeah, I'm all caught up.
I am too.
Yeah. When they killed her off, did you have like?
She might bring her back. You never know.
They had the clone guy. Yeah, we can bring her back anytime.
Bring anybody back, right?
Yeah.
All right. Do you have any other facts for me? And then maybe we'll talk about some of our favorite scenes, and then we'll talk about these actors and actresses.
Let's see. I was produced by Laura Schuler Donner, Richard Donner's wife.
Yeah.
She was interviewed in The Brats too.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Yeah, that's right. Yep,
She gave Andrew a hug.
Yeah.
She seemed like a very cool, like put together lady. Like it seemed like her and Donner were kind of on the same page and stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Play the game. You don't have to.
I mean, the film title song went to number 1 on the Billboard chart for 2 weeks. That's why Coster knows it.
Do you know this entire movie only has 2 songs? It has an instrumental that plays at the beginning, and then it has play the game.
He's got Billy's sax song.
Yeah.
You know he's not playing the saxophone, by the way.
You don't say. Go on. All right. What are some of your favorite scenes in the movie?
Oh my God. Well, I mean, the beginning when they're coming out in the gowns and all.
Yeah.
I just think like that's the quintessential, like you're hungover that day. Yeah. You got your whole life ahead of you. When they go to the bar for the first time and they get their table and Kerbo's sneaking a beer and like they kick the kids out of their table and stuff like that. The Halloween party. The defining scene of this movie, it's weird. I relate to this movie because I went through this for a very long time. Like everyone around me was like
saxophone and
no, everyone around me was trying to figure out their stuff. They were 21, 22.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was up to 33.
You're in a perpetual rinse, wash, and repeat of this movie.
So after the Halloween saxophone mishap, we're outside. Billy tries to beat up that guy, and then him and his wife make out together. And Judd Nelson says to Emilio Estevez, he goes, "Happy Halloween," and Kirby goes, and I'm just like, you have those hysterical laughter moments where you're just like, I can't believe this is my life. Like Billy says it all the time. It's like things got out of hand. You know what I mean? And it's okay for them to get out of hand in college. Like when he goes back and plays rugby, and they're like, "Hey, we need a drug dealer," and he's like, it's moments past.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's the one time when you're allowed to be a little out of control and kind of, can you reel yourself back in?
Yeah.
And I mean, everything. I mean, Jules' apartment with the Billy Idol on the back.
Yeah.
When they're trying to get into her apartment with the blowtorch, do not give that man a blowtorch. Yeah.
I think that probably one of my more favorite scenes. So they only have one Jewish friend, and of course the Jewish friend's father owns like a greeting card franchise and is always trying to marry his daughter off.
Was that a big thing in the 80s? Like, was it important to get married that early?
So I think you're starting to see the change, right? The sexual revolution, the gender roles are changing. So I do think for a lot of women in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, it still was their goal to like raise the family. But then you had like a subset that was starting to be more career oriented.
Like her social work career and all
that. Yeah. But like that kind of pull was still there. So like for the 80s, it was like, like women go to college, but they go to college so they can meet their husband.
Yeah.
Now it's like, women go to college because they want to go to college. They get careers because they want to have careers. It's not contingent upon anything else.
It was an interesting culture shock watching how adamant they were like, date this guy, you'll get a car.
Right.
It's like, is it a game show?
Right. But like, and in fairness, like to that dad, it's not like he's trying to be a monster, but like that's the world he grew up in.
Yeah,
so of course, as a parent, you want what's best for your kid.
Safety protector.
But my favorite part, one of my favorite scenes, is just the entire interaction of Billy being at dinner with them and the whispering.
Where'd you meet him?
Prison. I loved all
or
that.
They're on the roof. They're like, he's on the roof.
Right.
Has anyone ever been on a roof? Is he going to be okay? Get him down from there.
He's on drugs. Other than that, I don't know. Like, I think like the sexual tension they all seem to have with each other is kind of fun. Like the Billy and Jules, like
two of the most beautiful people ever.
Yeah, and like there's a real sadness to her situation. Like she really needed a friend, and he was just being
awful,
a DB.
Yeah, in front of his wife's house.
Yeah, it's not the classiest thing I've ever seen before.
But in the end, you like Billy. Like that's.
I think that's kind of the earlier point that I was making about this is showing all of the blemishes of humanity, and it's not very high in judgment. I mean, the fact that Alec and Kevin are like friends at the end of this movie,
that never happens.
And that like,
well, no, it does happen actually when the girl leaves both of you. You somehow bond.
I don't. Well, I know one situation with you, but other than that, it doesn't usually happen that way. Just so we're clear. God. Oh, lemons. All right. Any other notes on this movie that were particularly exciting for you?
Well, I mean, cast wise, I mean, let's
get to the cast. No, I meant like any scenes or anything that we'll go to cast.
No, cast time.
All right, let's talk about Joel Schumacher. So Joel Schumacher is one of those directors where look, he's not Spielberg. I get it.
Yeah.
He's not Christopher Nolan. But let me just take a step back for a second. I'm not going to give you every movie he's ever done. I'm going to give you the movies that I love that he's done.
Yeah.
And they're really good.
Yeah.
And they're like movies I'm obsessed with, right? So St. Elmo's Fire.
Yep.
I don't know that you can say you love 80s movies without loving St. Elmo's Fire.
No, it's part of the culture.
It's a staple. It's a staple. How about The Lost Boys?
Yeah.
In
Oh
1987.
my God. Yeah.
How about that little
Yeah.
flick? How about Flatliners in 1990?
So good.
Which, surprise, let me tell you right now, we're doing Flatliners next week.
No way.
Yeah,
Cool.
That is one of those movies
Yeah.
where I'm like, I thought no one had ever seen it. It's Roadhouse.
Yeah.
I didn't know anyone knew about it. And I like rented it one night when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the greatest movie
It's
I've
a
ever
huge
seen.
cast. It's Roberts, Sutherland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Strap in. We got
By the
work,
way, R.I.P.
we got work
Donald.
to do. I know. God, that's
Yeah.
awful that we lost him. 91, Dying Young.
Yeah. Really good movie.
Really good movie.
Yeah.
93, Falling Down.
I didn't like it as much as everyone did. Yeah.
Oh my God. I love Falling
I guess
Down.
I haven't had a corporate job where you
No,
just
like
snap.
losing your mind and again, he's just so good.
Yeah.
Michael
Douglas.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Yeah, with the shaved, like the big cut and
He's
like
so
the
good,
loser
Max.
mentality.
So good.
Batman Forever rules.
1995,
Yeah.
Batman Forever.
Yeah.
That was great. 96, A Time to Kill.
Yeah. Now imagine that girl was white.
Yeah.
Shoot.
That's another
I'm racist.
that's another book I've read.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
You're a middle-aged white guy.
All right, stop saying
What's the other
that.
one? Jurassic Park?
No.
Okay.
Jaws.
Is that a book?
Yeah.
8mm rules.
Did you really just ask that?
Jaws' book?
Yeah, so in the original, the novel
Yeah.
that the movie was based on, Richard Dreyfuss's character has an affair with Chief Brody's wife.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really, actually, the book is really good.
That sounds awesome.
And I never get to say things like
Yeah.
that and sound smart, but I'm saying it right
Yeah.
now. Batman Forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could live with that.
8mm.
It's literally like you don't want me to do my job.
Sorry.
I'm going through the dates. You skipped ahead for Batman. I let it slide.
Yeah.
It's the last one on my list. Yes, in 1999.
Yeah.
Anything with
Nick Cage.
our guy,
Yeah.
Nick Cage. But
Snuff
8mm is great.
movies.
The snuff films are great.
Yeah.
You've got a bunch, I'm sure.
But you forgot about Phone Booth.
I've never seen Phone Booth, and you and I have talked about this. You love this movie.
It takes place in a phone booth.
Well, that's there's one of those movies
Yeah.
where the title is apropos.
It's just Colin Farrell on the phone with Kiefer Sutherland, and Kiefer Sutherland's torturing him.
Yeah.
Like, you need to change your life.
Yeah.
You're a terrible person.
Yeah.
He's just firing bullets at him.
You need a call like that.
Forrest Whitaker's in it. Him in
like
both
him.
his eyes.
It's good. Continue, Max. What do you got?
What
next?
happens when you take Dayquil
Carl
and NyQuil at the same
Kurlander.
time?
What do you got for him?
He did 21 episodes of Saved by the Bell, the new class, and that's it.
That's great.
So he's basically Schumacher's assistant.
Yeah.
By the way, Schumacher, endless props because he was
He just passed away, didn't he?
He did,
Yeah.
2020.
Mhm.
But he did, what's it called? The window dressings, like the mannequin guy. What did he do? You know, the big fashion window dressings
okay, yeah.
for department stores
Oh.
up until his 30s. Never directed anything.
Oh, wow.
And then he just became a director.
There's still hope for us.
Yeah, right?
Demi Moore, who plays Jules. Talk to me about Demi Moore.
I mean,
Max.
married 3 times, 2 of whom Ashton Kutcher and Bruce Willis. Like I said, she can cry out of one eye. Still gets royalty checks for songs she wrote before becoming an actress. I don't know what
Play the game. I'm just kidding.
quit school at 16.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this. She was thanked by Blink-182 in the liner notes of Enema of the State. I think it's just because she was hot. They're like, thanks,
good
Demi
enough
Moore.
reason. There you go.
Yeah. She was a General Hospital girl. I didn't know that. 112
I didn't know that
episodes.
either.
Yeah. About Last Night, which is awesome.
Mhm.
That's a Rob Lowe one.
Mhm.
We should totally do that at some point.
Mhm.
One of the best Belushi's. Ghost is probably what she's known
Right.
best for.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, her
Ghost
and
is
the
her
Potter.
moment. Yeah. Please don't ever do that again. Jesus Christ.
Pottery is sexy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great.
You can't do pottery without being sexy.
Just continue, for God's sake.
A Few Good Men.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was great in that movie.
Indecent Proposal rules.
Yeah.
You seen that one?
Oh, yeah.
What would it cost
I don't know.
for you?
No, there's no amount of money.
Really?
Yeah.
$1 billion.
I don't want to ruin my marriage.
Yeah.
I have no interest in it.
She was the voice of the girl in Beavis
I
and
already,
Butthead.
I already have $1 million,
Yeah.
$1 billion, $1 trillion.
She was the voice of the girl in Beavis and Butthead.
Not Daria.
Yeah, no, the blonde girl
Oh, okay.
in Beavis Butthead Do America.
The movie. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Charlie's Angels 2 and Margin Call.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's good career. I feel like she should be back for something. They should revive her. Like Quentin Tarantino should do something with her.
Maybe.
Rob
Rob Lowe, Billy Hicks.
Most handsome dude ever. Do you know he went gray at age 24?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's been dyeing his hair ever since.
Hmm.
So
At least he has hair.
yes, he does. He had the best 80s hair of all time, I think. You can
So
say.
his-
Tim, Mel Gibson, maybe.
He, Tommy Boy was really kind of like his rebirth
Yeah.
because he had gotten in a little bit of trouble and wasn't all.
He became sober and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But he's one of the most handsome, funny guys of all time. Like the only guy I can compare him to him now is like Ryan Gosling. It's kind of like, but Ryan Gosling's more talented and a better
that's what I was
action
gonna say,
star.
Yeah.
But like when you're usually that handsome, you're not that funny. He's actually in on the joke, and he's really. I mean, Parks and Rec, West Wing is one of my favorite shows ever. Sam Shepard is.
I need to get it. Is that anything like Sam Shepard? Sham?
Shepherd.
Chamois Shepherd.
Austin Powers, he's young number 2.
Yep.
Yeah. He just, like you said, Wayne's World. Super Troopers 2.
He's great in Wayne's World.
Yeah. Youngblood, Class, The Outsiders, Last Night.
Youngblood.
Yeah.
We should do an episode on Youngblood too.
He's deaf in his right ear too, from an early virus when he was young.
Know that.
Yeah.
Andrew McCarthy as Kevin Dolenzi.
By the way,
Dolans.
In Bratz, did you find him charming or kind of just like...
I liked him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him.
I liked him.
Yeah.
Who did he visit on the farm? Who lives on the farm?
Emilio?
No. It was like in the middle of nowhere. Was it Emilio? No, Emilio wasn't on the farm. He drove into like the middle of nowhere to visit one of them, and I can't remember who it was now.
It wasn't Sheedy.
No.
And he didn't talk to Judd Nelson or Molly Ringwald.
Maybe it was Malcolm Gladwell who lived on the farm. Yeah. Okay, sorry.
But
didn't mean to derail.
I love that. I never knew this. This is a fun fact about him, that in Pretty in Pink, the ending of Pretty in Pink, they had shot it where...
Oh, you knew this?
No, where Molly Ringwald ends up with Ducky.
Yeah, and they hated it. The test audiences hated it.
I knew that part.
The wig.
I didn't realize he's wearing a wig in the last scene when they had to recreate it.
He hated the wig.
It does. I can't tell.
No, I can't tell.
Yeah.
Because you're so in love with the moment. You ignore everything else. Yeah.
I love you. Mannequin, Pretty in Pink, Less Than Zero. Weekend at Bernie's. He's so funny in Weekend at Bernie's. Weekend at Bernie's, I feel like if we could give out Oscars to everyone, we just give them to Weekend at Bernie's people. I think Andrew McCarthy's amazing in Weekend at Bernie's.
Oh my God.
Give him an Oscar.
Sure.
Yeah. And he directed 15 episodes of Orange is the New Black.
I've seen clips of that show, but I've never seen
First season's great, and then it just gets nah.
All right.
But Emilio Estevez, who plays
Kirby.
But I never knew this. He was married to Paula Abdul for 2 years.
Oh, I didn't know that.
In 92 to 94. Like that was my first crush. Was 1992.
I know all about that.
Paula Abdul.
2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
We come together because Max is here. I see you, Paula.
He had some great movies. Repo Man, Maximum Overdrive, Young Guns 1 and 2, Loaded Weapon, Mighty Ducks, Mission Impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But then like nothing recent.
Yeah,
I mean the Mighty Ducks reboot.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of anything he's been in, but he could do a biopic of his dad at some point.
So I've been begging forever that they do a young version of Martin Sheen's President Jed Bartlett.
That's right. A prequel for
using Emilio.
They could do that for sure.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. Well, he's getting too old now.
Yeah,
like they're actually at the same age.
Too damn old.
Ali Sheedy plays Leslie Hunter.
You love Ali Sheedy.
I do. I mean, there's just something so... She's the girl next door that like...
She's the goth girl next door.
Yeah, but there's like this Natalie Portman obtainability where it's like in Garden State where you're like, oh man, this girl.
She was the most likable of everybody in Bratz, in my opinion. I liked watching her being interviewed was my favorite of all of them.
Her personality doesn't stem far from the role she played.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Breakfast Club a little bit. By the way, biggest faux pas with Breakfast Club that she has to doll up at the end to get Emilio.
She doesn't have to.
Dude, 100%.
Thank you.
I'm on your team.
Yeah.
I don't think it's not that she has to.
No, she didn't have to, but the fact that the cause and effect of she couldn't get him before, and now that she dolled up, completely changed her entire look. Then got it.
I'm gonna go on record though. You have to remember the time in which this movie.
No, I know.
100%. 100%, and it's. Gosh darn it! I'm so sorry.
This guy's coming out firing.
I'm so sorry.
Thank God you're the editor. You have to clean that up.
I'm the worst. No, it's an
amazing. Play the game.
It's an amazing film, but yeah, right after I watched it for the first time, I was like, man, the fact that she had to like change herself kind of bothered me.
Yeah, I like it. I think women should all change themselves.
I mean, her in War Games. You haven't seen Bad Boys yet. She was Sean Penn's girlfriend. Short Circuit. In X-Men Apocalypse, she's Scott's teacher. It's a small role.
Okay, I was like, I don't remember that at all.
I mean, Scott's
Summers,
No, Cyclops, yeah.
He's not Apocalypse, he's Cyclops.
Judd Nelson, probably the most affected by the 80s.
This is great. I mean, like, talk about the stretching of his acting, right?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't get typecasted. Like, he went from, like, bad boy to, I mean, I guess there's still
He's always a jerk.
But going from like one glove drug riddled bad boy to like
straight edge
Republican straight edge is different.
There's a punchability to him always.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Judd,
he was engaged to Shannon Doherty, which is awesome.
Oh man, that would have been a power couple. Jesus.
He was in New Jack City, Airheads, Suddenly Susan, and Steel.
Yeah.
And really interesting actor, and kind of just faded from the planet. He's just kind of, I mean, he wasn't even on, although that was the worst part about Bratz is he answers the phone at the end.
I know, and I want to say where that's going. Maybe a sequel.
Yeah.
Mare Winningham, who played Wendy Beamish.
Do you know who she's married to?
No.
Now she's married to Anthony Edwards. Married a goose.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Marriage number 4.
Oh, wow. Well, she was pregnant. She already had 2 kids in this movie.
Yep.
And she was pregnant with her 3rd, I think.
Yeah.
And you can't really tell.
No, but it plays into her feeling like she's heavyset.
It's just funny. She's a virgin in the movie and she's pregnant. We should call her Mary.
Yeah.
Tra-la-la-la-la.
She's in Turner and Hooch.
Yes.
She's the doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Andy McDowell, Dale Biberman. We already talked about Groundhog's Day and a couple other films she's in. She has a really timeless, she has the kind of look that like you'd find like a Greek statue.
Yeah.
And she would have kind of that like facial look. She's almost looks out of place in this movie.
Yeah. Jennifer Connelly, I say, was a good comp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just like, it's like looking at art.
I think she was Andy McDowell and Michael? Yeah, she was good in that too.
She's always this calming motherly presence. It's like she's attractive, but you're like, also baby me.
Yeah.
Put me in a diaper and
baby me. Jesus Christ. She
was in a Muppets movie. Muppets from Space.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I had to rack my brain on that for a second.
Oh, my favorite, by the way, Wally, who's, the guy who owns St. Elmo's.
Yeah.
That's Blake Clark. Does he look familiar for you?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Stop. The coach, not Coach Klein, in Waterboy with the nipples. Yeah. Am I totally wrong? No, never mind. I was going to say in Cocktail, he's Tom Cruise's uncle, but I don't think that's true. Yeah.
That's the guy who's in Risky
They're very
Business.
similar. Yeah.
I mean, that guy looks older. But he was also Sean Hunter's dad in Boy Meets World. Yep. Like the alcoholic dad who left him. He was in Home Improvement. He was this guy named Harry, too.
Mm-hmm.
50 First Dates. Click.
Yep.
And Corky Romano, Mr. Deeds.
Corky Romano.
Can we do it at some point?
No,
time?
Absolutely
okay.
not. Is it time? No, it's not time.
And Toy Story 3, he played the voice of Slinky the dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Max, we've covered all of the actors and actresses, and we have covered the movie. Is there anything else that you want to cover, or are you feeling good?
Never trust a woman who says she isn't angry.
Perfect. And with that, why don't we head on over to our Buzz in the Tower fan spotlight? This week's Buzz in the Tower fan spotlight is Andrew Quinney. He's a huge
medicine woman.
It's amazing. Huge fan of the show. If you want with you on Instagram all the time.
Yeah, if you want to follow him, he posts like pictures of movies and stuff. Like he's got Bruce
tag.
Campbell. It's Andrew_Quinney, Quinney.
Perfect. And he's a film nerd.
Yeah.
Perfect. Let's hear what Andrew had to say about play the game. St. Elmo's fire and I'm cold in here. And you shut the door, Demi Moore. I don't know what I'm singing anymore. I can feel it burning.
Let's go see.
Hey, what up, Buzz? Thank you for having me as a guest spotlight. For those of you watching, my name's Andrew Quinney, and I'm here to talk about St. Elmo's Fire. What led me to that movie was watching the Bratz documentary, the Brat Pack documentary, and it was done really well. And I got to say to myself, I've never seen the movie. So I went to watch it, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. It's about college, what to do after college graduation, deals with life, relationships, abuse, and whatever you take away from this movie, this is what happened with me. This theme, every time I hear it, makes me think of this movie. And I hope you all will love watching it, and happy viewing.
I'm telling you, the 2 songs.
Yeah.
And then I'm done doing it. I was born in the fire.
You described it really well.
Really adapted to St. Elmo's.
I just read an article about the many voices of Tom Hardy and all his accents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good that you have time to read articles like that. Excellent job on the fan spotlight. I bet there's a lot of people who probably caught Bratz and they're like, I need to see St. Elmo's Fire.
I think so.
And
they'll like it.
They will.
Yeah.
Max, you're back. We're doing the podcast again. It's good to have you. We just finished. A reminder to follow, subscribe, rate, and review on any podcast player that's out there. Apple Podcast, Spotify, you name it, we're on it. Follow us on all social media at Buzz in the Tower, specifically TikTok and Instagram. Those are our sweet spots. BuzzinTheTower.com is the website. A little magic here. Give us that sponsor. At 80stees.com is the wonderful sponsor of our show. And patreon.com/BuzzinTheTower is where you can give us money to support Max's tattoo habit and marriage habit and all other habits.
Marriage habit.
Don't forget, your artwork can be picked up next week
Oh, cool. Yeah, you bought me a photo.
I did.
No.
Not a photo.
An art
piece. So at the location that Max got married, local artists have their artwork up there. It swaps out every month, and it just so happens the month they were getting married, the artist that had their stuff up there was very in line with Max and Selena's tastes. So
he was an alien.
My wedding gift to Max was a piece of art of the Garfunkel persuasion.
Indeed.
There you go.
Yes.
Max, that being said, how do you want to end this wonderful show? Great to have you back.
Saxophone.
Saxophone indeed. I'll end it with play the game.